I think we're still waiting for Bobby and Basil and Reg.
Yeah, maybe I should wait a bit.
And
We're a
then
little. The meeting of the planning board for March 2021. I think we can inform to go ahead. Declaration of conflict of interest. Anyone in conflict of interest?
None.
Having none, we'll move on. The approval of the agenda. The agenda for today's meeting consisting of three separate applications, maybe four. Do I have a mover to the agenda? A move by Rosemary, second by Julie, to move the agenda. Any discussion on that?
No.
Any issues? None? All those in favor? All those opposed? Motion carried. Adoption of the minutes. Got a chance to review the minutes. We've got a bit of background, which is very hard to hear.
I think we just have to mute. I'm going to mute.
Yes. Some people might have their phone on, their iPhone on, and their laptop or their Surface Pro at the same time. That's better. Hi, Reg. How you doing? So we're adopting the minutes, or in the process of adopting the minutes. Would someone want to move adoption? Moved by Mayor Brown, seconded by Reg. Any discussion on the adoption of the minutes? Hearing none. All those in favor? All those opposed? Carried. Thank you. We have the first item on the agenda. Do you want? Or is everyone that's not on planning board that's here in front of me? Are they all here for? No, they're not. I can answer my own question before I even ask it. Okay. Angus Drive. This is, as we just discussed briefly there, one of many things, but a rezoning. So I'll introduce Laurel Thompson to carry us. Laurel is the lead person on this file. Are you there, Laurel?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, it's all yours.
Thank you. Good evening, board. I'm just going to share the screen. Okay, can everyone see this?
Yep, I can. I don't know, everyone else see it? Yeah.
So, this is an application for 413 St. Peter's Road and Lot 40 Angus Drive to rezone the property. It's a request to proceed to public consultation, and it involves a request to rezone 40 Angus Drive from R1L zone to mixed-use corridor zone and rezone 413 St. Peter's Road from low-density residential zone to mixed-use corridor zone. As well, there's also a future land use map amendment to the official plan for Lot 40 Angus Drive and 413 St. Peter's Road, which would move from mature neighborhood to village center commercial. The request also involves a consolidation of the two properties I just spoke about, as well as the existing Mel's property, which is right here. Subject properties are bound by R1L zoning to the north, St. Peter's Road to the south, and Mel's convenience store to the east, and Angus Drive to the west. And existing on 413 St. Peter's Road is a single-family dwelling, which is right here, and the lot on Angus Drive is currently vacant. Mel's is located along St. Peter's Road, which is a provincial highway, and it's one of the main arteries traveling in and out of Charlottetown. So there have been several requests over the years to rezone these properties, and the current application has come forward because the province is undertaking major upgrades to St. Peter's Road during the summer of 2021. And those upgrades include construction of a roundabout at the location of Angus Drive and St. Peter's Road, so right here. Site plan. Province is also constructing a center median along St. Peter's Road, and that median, it will allow vehicles traveling east to make left-hand turns, will not allow vehicles traveling east to make left-hand turns into Mel's, and will also not permit westbound vehicles exiting the site to make left-hand turns. Right in and right out only will be permitted, so if you're coming east, you can turn right into Mel's, and you can also exit out right. In 2013, the province and the city completed a traffic study, and due to traffic generated at this location at Angus and St. Peter's Road, the province did not support a direct access from Mel's at that time. So between 2014 and September 15, Mel's made several applications to rezone the subject properties. And access on Angus would allow residents north of St. Peter's Road to visit Mel's without having to enter traffic on St. Peter's Road. As well, it was identified in that traffic study that there would be no delays in queuing on Angus to St. Peter's Road once a roundabout was constructed. So what was happening before is there was a lot of traffic in the morning and the evenings that would back up on Angus, trying to make left and right turns onto St. Peter's Road, because you would either have traffic coming into the city for work, or people leaving the city to go home in the evening. So residents had major concerns with past applications on how people entered and exit Mel's site, because it was very busy in both the morning and the evening. So people were trying to come in for coffee or gas and then exit and enter onto St. Peter's Road. And then they also had the situation with people backing up on Angus Drive, as I had mentioned before. So residents had concerns about safety and traffic at that time. So the proposed roundabout will alleviate issues with access from Angus Drive and will keep traffic flowing, as opposed to waiting to make left or right turns at this intersection. The proposed access driveway from Mel's onto Angus Drive will also create a much safer situation for customers leaving or entering the site. So this is the proposed access driveway. What will happen when people currently that live north of Mel's and St. Peter's Road, they have to go down to St. Peter's Road and enter through St. Peter's Road to the Mel's site. Once this access goes in and the roundabout is constructed, a lot of people from the north will be able to just turn into the Mel's site and not have to make those traffic turns onto St. Peter's Road. So that will create a much safer situation. The province has also prepared a memo to this work that they're doing, and they submitted that today. That memo will be discussed more in detail at a public meeting if this proceeds to a public meeting. However, Steve Yeo is present, so if there are any questions, then maybe he can address this at a very high level this evening. Staff also recognize that there may be concerns from residents about the intensification of this site with the rezoning and the consolidation. So after the public meeting, there may be ways that staff can look at this to mitigate any concerns that they may have. There's currently very few commercial support services in East Royalty, and Mel's really addresses that need and serves the community in the neighborhood in that area. So I have included a list of positive attributes and shortcomings within the report. Having this problem.
Yeah.
Here, sorry. And they're also in the report, but if you want to take a quick look at them here. But overall, we are supporting the application to move to public consultation. We feel that the application has merit. If there's any questions that I can answer, feel free to ask, and if there is any questions for the province.
Okay, thank you, Laurel. We will take, I think, in order. I want to remind the elected people tonight that this is for, the only question here is to be answered tonight is whether it should go to public consultation or not.
Correct.
And any questions or anything, I think, should be confined to clarification and points that Laurel commented on. So I just, having said that, does anyone have a question? Laurel, can you take the screen down so I can see as folks as they put their hand up? Yeah.
Councillor,
Yes.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, Your Worship.
could I just ask, I see that Mr. McIsaac is there with, I believe, Mr. Doucette.
Yeah.
They have a similar situation, and Steve Yeo would know about this too. They have a
What I'm
similar
going to try to
situation.
do, Your Worship, what I'm going to try to do is let the elected people speak first, and then the applicant, or I'm sorry, Mr. Yeo from the province, and then the applicant, and any other people that are here with us tonight who would like to speak. Is that an orderly way to do it? Yeah.
That's good. Yeah.
Okay. I just want to make sure everybody has their say and has lots of time to say it. So, okay, I'm on your neutral, shortcomings, and positive. I just can't see the hands, Laurel, when they go up to
I'm just
speak.
trying to get the screen off.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. That's it. Thank you. Yeah. Hi, Bobby.
Can see everyone?
Good.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you very much. Now, question, Your Worship, did you have a...
Yeah, with both Steve Yeo and Mr. McIsaac, and I believe that's Jeff Doucette next to him. They have a Mel's out in North River, Cornwall, which is with a similar situation. It's near the roundabout.
Yes.
Mr. McIsaac, is it a drive-through for your Country View or your Country Cup copy? Is that in that? I've never been through that Mel's in North River. Could you answer that?
We do have a drive-through there, yes, for country stuff.
Yeah. And no problems with the traffic flowing in and flowing out onto the, highway, well, it's Trans-Canada Highway. No problem?
We've never been made aware of any problems.
Okay, okay. And Mr. Yo, just on the roundabout in East Royalty, that will be taking place this year, the construction?
That's correct. The tenders were out and closed last Thursday, and startup construction we anticipate will be May of this year.
Okay. And possibly finish in July, August?
I suspect it will be August, September. There's 3 roundabouts to be constructed, and road widening all the way along with an active transportation trail. So I suspect, August, September would be the final completion.
Thank you, Mr. Yo. Mr. Chair, I just wanted to look at the timeline, so it's probably the best time to deal with this issue. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem whatsoever. Anyone else? Julie, Councillor McCabe?
Yeah, I just wanted to follow up too. I had spoken to, when Natalie and I were talking, because you're right, there are residents that have questions and concerns about how this is going to happen and what it's going to look like. They also understand with the road that Mel's needs to have safe and good access. I was told though, and Steve, you might be able to clarify, that the design for the roundabout wasn't completed. There's still negotiations happening with some other property owners, because I did ask to see the site plan and then I saw it in the city plan. So I'm wondering, is that the correct design for what the roundabout's going to look like, or is there some changes that could still happen based on that conversation this afternoon?
Are we talking about the roundabout at Angus?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, that's the final design.
Okay.
We're still in negotiation with property owners, but they're proceeding as planned.
Okay, so the design will be for this Mel's application is that the drive-through and traffic will bird on to Angus to connect to the roundabout. Is that what I'm understanding that it looks like?
That's the plan. That's correct.
Okay, and that'll be available when you guys are there for the public meeting to present to residents.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Question? Chris, Shallon, Rosemary, Bob, Alana. Okay, Danny, or Jeff, I'm sorry, Steve, would you like to say anything additional from the provincial standpoint, or are you okay?
Well, from a provincial standpoint, there's 2 benefits to have the driveway on Angus. One is, which already somebody spoke to, about the people who live up in Angus. They don't have to come out onto onto Route 2, so they can just come down the subdivision road, turn into Mel's, and go back home the same way. The other benefit is northbound traffic or traffic heading towards Surrey. They can turn left at the Angus roundabout, go up there, and then proceed to turn right into Mel's. If the access on Angus is there, rather than go to the next roundabout, which would be McWilliams, and come back. So that would reduce congestion on Route 2 and the usage in the roundabouts if that access on Angus Street for Mel's is present. So there's from a safety related perspective, there's a big benefit to have that access onto Angus Street from Mel's.
Thank you. Thank you. Danny or Jeff, do you want to add anything to the conversation? Excuse me, just gentlemen. Councillor McCabe, you wanted to say something?
Further clarification. So as that can come in, like, as you said, off the roundabout, it's going to be a right out for those people into Charlottetown, correct? From Mel's?
You were breaking up there, Julie.
Sorry. I said there still is a right in and a right out from St. Peter's Highway, though, right? They won't have to go around the roundabout. There'll still be a right in and a right out. Is that what I'm understanding?
That's correct. There'll be a lot of traffic coming right in and right out.
Okay, thank you. Sorry, gentlemen. Shallon?
Thank you. I was just wondering if there's any intention for kind of future development of that adjacent site that's being consolidated with Mel's.
So would that be you, Danny, or?
There's no definite plan for that site at this time. However, we will see what we have when the roundabout is constructed and what room is left. We are in a position where this is driven by the provincial government for their roundabout. It's not our preference to have that roundabout, but you can't fight City Hall, let's say. But at the end of the day, we look at it the way the government does. It's probably a safer entrance and safer in and out in general to the site. So in that regard, it would be a good thing. But at the end of the day, we have what most would consider a thriving business there. This is going to have obviously a disruption during construction, no question, again, but we will have work to do after the roundabout is in to see what kind of property is left and what we can do with that property.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Rich? Rich and then Julie? Is your mic on? Rich, can you hear me?
I don't think you can.
Okay.
That's better. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, my question is not about the adjacent. It's not about the adjacent property. It's about the existing property. Is there any plans to change the existing property? Because it can get very busy in the parking area right now on any evening and then in the mornings for coffee and stuff. Like, is there backups, potential backups onto Route 2 at all?
Danny, handle that?
Yeah. We do think that with the entrance onto Angus, there will be less congestion in the front of the property, and the drive-through traffic will, I would think, for the most part, exit onto Angus. And as a matter of fact, some of the traffic that's in the front that would choose to go up Angus as opposed to going back onto the Trans-Canada will not be working on the front of the property neither. So in general, I think it would eliminate some of the traffic in the front. I think it would be a safer, less congested area.
Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Danny. Councillor McKay.
Thank you. And I'm just kind of Shallon's question. So tonight we're talking a lot about the traffic and the roundabout purposes, and I understand where you're trying to change the zone for the mixed use corridor and stuff. But when we're talking of from mature neighborhood to the village center, is that for potential further development of commercial property there for residents? Is that part of once we approve this tonight that they'd have as a right to go and do that too?
All we're approving tonight is going to the public meeting.
That's it.
I know, I'm just trying to get around everything. Thank you.
Julie, I can't pick you up. I missed maybe half of your first question.
That's okay, Dan. I'll get the question from you. I guess I was asking the question way ahead of myself for. Sorry.
Okay. Thank you, Julie. Thank you. Danny, would you have anything more to add, or Jed, or Jeff? Danny, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. I think, Mike, in general, always good to lay the cards on the table. I think that this is a growing community that needs services, that Mel's itself has to be a little safer, especially in times like this. For example, if the liquor store in Charlottetown was closed, it's chaos. And I think that we would have a good professional plan going forward, that we could service the community in a much safer way, and hopefully provide the services that they'd be looking for.
Okay. Thanks, Danny. Your worship.
Just one question. Yeah, Danny, I've been out there picking up something for my wife when the liquor store was closed in town, and I know it was a busy spot out there. But Danny, I know when you first brought this up back in early 2000, the property at 413 St. Peter's Road, I thought that you were looking at maybe turning that into a parking area for staff. Is that correct?
413, is that the one on the corner of Angus?
Yeah.
Okay, so what we do there is we rent that house and we park our staff cars at that property, yes.
And if this is approved, if the public consultation gets a good response, would that be a permanent parking area for your staff? I think that's what we talked about many, many years ago.
Well, the plan is to expand our parking for sure.
Okay.
And that would incorporate the vacant lot as well.
Okay.
So once the final plan is in place, I'm assuming that all the parking places would have to be approved, and that's the plan.
Okay. And just on a point of clarification, Mr. McIsaac, the roundabout is a provincial infrastructure project. The city is only a benefactor to their projects.
Yeah, no, I was just using a cliche, Your Honor.
Oh, no, I want to make sure Steve Yo carries the ball in this one. Thank you.
Don't you worry. We've already had some nice discussions.
Thank you.
I'm ready for a motion, if I could have one from someone.
I'll move to move to public consultation.
Okay, it's been moved by Reg to move to public consultation. Is there a seconder? Seconded by Councillor Unikoff. Discussions on the motion? All those in favor? All those opposed? It's unanimous. Public consultation. Thank you very much, everyone, for coming in. It's always great to have people that come in and explain to us what's going on and what to expect. Anyway, I think Councillor Unikoff, I think your mic's turned up. No? Okay. All right. Thank you, folks.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda is 7 to 9 Bonham Street. Once again, it's Laurel's file, so I'll call upon Laurel to
Thank you.
explain.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you,
guys.
folks. Thank you very much.
Hi, everyone. This is our next application. Can everyone see?
Yeah.
Yep.
Perfect.
Oh.
All right. So, the property owners at 102-2960 EI Inc. has made an application for a site-specific exemption from the requirement under Section 34.2, permitted uses at grade and walkable streets, and that is a section of the zoning and development bylaw. The application will also require an amendment to the official plan to exempt 7 to 9 Connell Street, which is right here, from Section 4.2.3 of the official plan. A new appendix to the official plan will also need to be created to recognize properties that have been granted site-specific exemptions. Staff are recommending that a new table, Appendix B, approved site-specific exemptions, be created and form part of the official plan to recognize any council to approve. If approved, exemption would allow the multi-use building at 7 to 9 Connell Street to incorporate residential and office use on the ground floor. This is the subject building under construction, and these are the plans of the building. This is the space that was delegated for commercial and tourism-related uses. So this would exempt the requirement for this building, if approved, to provide tourism-related uses, retail uses, and a cultural establishment on the ground floor abutting Connell Street, which is deemed a walkable street. The subject property is on the corner of Water and Connell Street, and the portion of building that the applicant has requested to be exempted from the provisions is immediately adjacent to Pownell Street. So Pownell Street runs right along the front of the building here. The unit was initially intended to house commercial or tourism uses that animate the street. And as per section 3.11.1A of the Zoning and Development Bylaw, Council does have the right to approve a site-specific exemption to permitted uses and regulations in any zone where the proposed site is not contrary to the official plan. However, if an application is contrary to the official plan, an application to amend the official plan must be filed in and the applicant did apply for an amendment to the plan. In this case, the application is contrary to section 4.2.3 of the official plan, which states walkable streets, the portions of streets perpendicular and south of Water Street, as shown on Schedule B2, such streets prolongate to the water and are intended to be vibrant, interactive public spaces. Ground level uses along these streets are meant to animate the street and contribute to the pedestrian experience while creating a strong and distinct sense of place. Permitted uses should be commercial, retail, cultural, and tourism service oriented in nature. This is B2 streetscapes plan that I just referenced. These are the walkable streets that are located, and these are the streets on both sides that were intended to have uses that animate the streets and more tourism related. So, if the application is approved, the official plan would have to be amended by creating a new table, Appendix B, and the table will list any future site-specific exemptions that may be approved to the official plan. And now, in December of 2012, some of you might have been here then, but a new waterfront master plan was developed for the waterfront. The plan designated portions of the streets that ran perpendicular, these streets as I noted earlier, and these walkable streets were to accommodate active ground floor uses that would activate the waterfront and create a must-see destination. The plan discouraged single-purpose private uses on the ground floor. These ground floors, as per the plan, should always be reserved for commercial uses like retail, restaurants, pubs, visitor centers, galleries, etc. So the applicants, which I included in your package, they have submitted a document outlining their rationale for requesting the site-specific exemption, and the applicants state in their submission that the uses they propose are more appropriate for waterfront development and listed within their submission various sections within the official plan that they interpret as supporting their application. In general, they contend that converting the ground floor space within their building to residential or office space is consistent with good planning principles. And although staff does not agree with various points included in the rationale, staff does not feel that the use of the property for this space undermines the overall integrity of the waterfront zone. And that is one of the key things in the Zoning and Development Bylaw when dealing with the site-specific exemption, that the exemption doesn't undermine the integrity of the zone, and we don't feel that it does. However, staff does feel the waterfront plan was developed, and it was intended to have a timeline. When it was developed, it was intended to have a timeline of 30 years to full build out. So we are a few years into it, but we're nowhere near full build out. In the master plan, this area was identified as the Charlottetown Yacht Club area, and the master plan showed a significant improvement of the yacht club property, which would include a new breakwater berth, a beach, a new clubhouse, with mixed-use development, ground floor, commercial, and residential on the upper floors. So currently, the area houses the courtyard and the existing yacht club, and the portion of Water Street that the property flanks on is mainly occupied with residential uses. Commercial development really hasn't intensified in this area of the waterfront yet, and the waterfront, so we don't feel that we haven't had a lot of development in the portion of the waterfront that's down by the marinas, and it's become more vibrant since the waterfront plan was initiated, but that hasn't really moved up towards, like westward towards this part of the waterfront yet. And also we would note that the waterfront plan was developed prior to COVID, and as you are aware, and what we're experiencing right now, we've just had another shutdown over the weekend. So, you know, things have occurred over the past year, and society has experienced unprecedented times, and downtowns have really been affected nationwide and within our own city because of the pandemic. Therefore, staff recognizes that within the current economic climate, it's difficult for landlords to rent retail space. Staff would also note that the building was designed to have architectural features such as high ceilings, large storefront windows, and entrance doors facing the street to support commercial uses. Although at the current time it may be challenging for the developer to rent the space for those types of uses, economics over time will more than likely dictate what goes into this space. So staff would note that the plans are not meant to be static. When the waterfront plan was developed, there's room for change. Basically, if times change and economic situations change, plans are meant to be flexible so that they can be amended to accommodate the changing times. So there was a development agreement that was signed for this property, and if council were to approve the site-specific exemption, then an amendment to the existing development agreement would also be required. The applicant has requested that an existing storage building on site that was intended to house garbage receptacles be removed, as the applicant now intends to house the garbage facilities in the basement. And staff does view this as a positive change. They've also required additional land at the rear of the property from Charlottetown Area Development Corporation, and the purpose of this is to create a new access driveway in the rear yard to access the adjacent building. And the revised, the development agreement would have to be revised also to reflect that access driveway. So we have included various positives and shortcomings within the report. I'm sure you guys have looked at those when you reviewed your report. But overall, given the current situation, staff feel that the applicant's request is reasonable, that it would be difficult right now to rent this portion of the street to a commercial tenant or someone that's involved in tourism, as our tourism industry has had a major decline over the past year. So we are recommending for this to move to public consultation to gauge the residents' opinions on this. So if there's any questions I can answer, feel free to ask. And the applicant, Spencer Campbell, is also present to answer any questions that the board may have.
Thank you, Laurel. Any questions? Can you take that sheet down, Laurel, so I can see the gang for questions, please? Thank you. Thank you. Yep.
There we go.
Yeah, thank you very much. Okay, any questions of Laurel? Rosemary?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Laurel, I just had a question around the design review that was done in 2018. And they granted approval. So what happens if, is there any impact, I guess, on their decision that was made in 2018?
Well, Rosemary, the storefront, the architectural features aren't going to change. The building will, to my knowledge, stay the same. It's just that the use within that space would change until current economic conditions would dictate a different.
Okay, that's good. Thanks, Laurel.
Okay. Anyone else? Okay, no one else? Okay, Spencer, would you like to add anything or question anyone?
No, I think I don't have anything really significant to add. I mean, just we are finding we've had a really good response to the building. We have a lot of people who have expressed interest in it for residential purpose, but we do anticipate that it would be difficult to have similar interest for retail or tourism use. the idea of putting a bar or a restaurant, for example, in that location, that whole section of Water Street west of Pownell is residential. And so we feel that a residential use is the most appropriate use for that area. It's also quite adjacent, obviously, to the courthouse, and so there would be a number of possibilities of an office-related nature given its location. But we do think that, especially given the pandemic, that we do need a little bit of flexibility in trying to rent up that space, and so we'd like to go in that direction.
Okay, thank you. I see Steve Dunn has joined us. Welcome, Steve. I think Dave Lopez is still on the line. I'm not sure. Anyway, Your Worship, you had a question.
I do. When I look at the project, Spencer, would there be a point in time that you may want to convert it to a business front or storefront, or is this to stay always as residential?
Well, I think really what we're asking, Your Worship, if we are not required to be limited to the walkable street uses, then we would really fall back into the waterfront zone zoning, which has a variety of uses. Office would be one, residential would be another. For sure, if we go in and we develop that space for residential and we invest the money to put in washrooms and kitchens and so on, the possibility of coming back to another use would go down significantly. So, you know, I think that once we make the decision which way we want to go, we probably would not reverse course.
Yeah.
Having said that, as you can see, the exterior of that corner does have, you know, large windows.
Yeah.
And it would be suitable for a variety of uses, and it is possible down the line, if the market was there for it, that we, you know, if it could be justified economically, we could make a turn in another direction for sure.
And Spencer or Steve, at 24 Haviland, Spencer, you may know of Haviland Court, they put their compost and black bins in the basement, and there is a huge issue with pest in that basement environment for especially the compost bins. So you should take that into consideration. I know makes it a neater building with no exterior buildings or fencing to hide the waste bins or the compost bins, but it's been proven down at 24 Haviland Court. It's a very difficult situation for the residents.
Your Worship, we do have the apartment building at 7 Goodwill as well, and that building's about 6 years old. We do put the cans in the basement there, and we've never had a problem.
Oh.
You know, for example, you know, what we find is in most apartment buildings, you can get away with one black can for every 2 apartments and one green for every 2 apartments. And so when you're talking about a 14 unit apartment building, not a lot of cans, and we haven't had a problem on Goodwill Avenue.
Oh, good. I should
just add to that real quick too. That's what CADC is doing now. We got the idea for CADC, so yeah, I think it's going to work.
Well, that's something that the province, provincial housing, Pete Hyacinth should be speaking to you about this issue, because as Councillor Yankoff knows, it's calls every other week from residents, and it's a provincial building, not owned by the city. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, I'm ready for a motion. This is to move to the public consultation process session only. Does anybody like to provide a motion? It's been moved by Councillor Yankoff, seconded by, and what is the motion, Councillor Yankoff?
Go to public consultation.
Yeah.
To proceed to public consultation as
Thank you.
recommended by the planning staff.
Thank you.
I'd second that, Chair.
Seconded by Bob Kenny. Any discussion on the resolution? And hearing none. All those in favor? All those opposed? Motion's carried, I believe 7-0 is the number. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
9-0.
9-0. Yep, 9-0. Thank you very much. Thank you, Spencer. Thank you, Steve. Thank you, David.
Thank you, everybody. Thank
See you
you.
later. Thank you very much.
Okay,
Take
bye-bye.
care. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Okay, folks, we can move on to the third section of our agenda tonight, and that's updates on zoning and development bylaw amendments, the official plan amendments. I think this is going to be Alex Forbes's time to shine. Alex, are you there? Are you borrowing Mr. Zilke's mic?
Yeah, I'm okay. Can you hear me?
Yeah. I'll do the water lot development regulations first. Mr. Forbes, thank you. It's all yours.
No, it's going to be a unique opportunity if I have to shine. But I'll try my best.
Go for it.
So look, this is tied into the the need for. Now, are we into planning committee now?
No.
No. Yeah, we're planning board.
No, just planning board.
Okay, so on those amendments that we did discuss, I did get an opinion back from David Hooley on the waterfronts last Thursday.
Okay.
Now, we're both on the same page, but, it's just really important with this thing because of the 3 levels of government. He and I are tweaking that, and so he wants to have a meeting. But we want to hopefully indicate to the board we'd like to bring that forward on a special meeting, a planning board meeting on the 16th. So there'll be that item. There's another amendment that I think we will have ready for the 16th dealing with signage and murals. There's the existing amendments that didn't go last month. So there's a bunch of planning board amendments that didn't go last month because we were holding them. So, and then because of today in regard to COVID, we were thinking for the March meetings, we would do 2 meetings anyways. The meeting for Mel's is likely going to be a busy meeting. We can only have 50 people now for these meetings. So we've got to be very careful. So we were anticipating having 2 meetings, 2 public meetings. Well, one public meeting would be for the 2 applications you just dealt with. And then the other public meeting would be all of the amendments that you dealt with last month and the 2 amendments that will be coming forward on March 16th, dealing with the waterfront and signage and murals. So that's just a bit of an update, but we just want to telegraph to the other board members that, and there'll be another variance or 1 or 2 variance applications at that noon meeting on the 16th. So it's just an update as to where, what we come out of this month. Some business that needs to be tidied up, but I think it can get all brought back on track on the meeting on March 16th. Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Chair?
Yes. Go ahead.
Alex,
Yes.
So the legal opinion came in from David Hooley about the floating docks.
Yes,
And you want to meet at a noon hour meeting to go over that, or?
No, well, it's just a matter of in the interim. I need to tweak my report in regard to how we're going to do those bylaw amendments. So I would like to bring that forward on the 16th. You folks will be able to look at that because it could have changed from the last time you've seen it. So as long as you give your endorsement, or hopefully you give your endorsement on the 16th, we will coordinate that amendment. We'll bring in another amendment dealing with signage and murals, and then we'll put them in that whole package of amendments from last month, a number of bylaw amendments, and have a special meeting in March, just all in bylaw amendments. And then there'll be another public hearing in March dealing with the 2 applications you just dealt with this evening.
Okay, so I'm just trying to clarify, Alex. When do we go to a public consultation for the after March 16th? So you need 2 weeks. So it'll be the end of March, maybe into April, when we'll have the public consultation on the floating docks. Is that correct?
Again, depending on COVID and all of these other issues, we will have that meeting as quickly as we can under the bylaw requirements. But it's got to get to council. So when it comes out of we may be able to do that as a special meeting for one of the other meetings, because when you're at a public hearing for these 2, you may be able to then endorse these amendments. But we'll try to move it along as quickly as possible. But it's just a matter of, we're going to need to have 2 public meetings coming up in the near future, and we'll coordinate that after what happens on the 16th.
And
on the bylaw amendments.
And both of those public meetings require 14 days of notice, public notice, and then setting up the meeting. So we're looking at least the end of the month, sometime in April.
Right, because it's going to be easy for the two applications you just dealt with tonight, because council is going to set those hearing dates next Monday. So you'll endorse those, the public meeting for the two applications you dealt with tonight. But then on the 16th, you'll review these other two items, and then we'll have to get that back onto the council, get approved to go out to public consultation by council, and we'll do it as quickly as possible. I know that's kind of confusing, but it's the best we can do.
Yeah, because Mr. Chair, just again, point of clarification. So on the floating docks, we still have to take that amendment to go to a public consultation to council?
Correct, yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the 16th at noon is the floating dock, right, Alex?
Well, it's going to be the floating dock. It'll be another amendment for signage and murals, which will be new.
That's on dinner time?
That's
right.
all.
And signage, murals, and the floating docks are all at dinner time on the 16th, right? Okay. And the second one we're talking about is the Connell and Mills that we heard tonight. That's number 2. And number 3 is last month's amendments to certain bylaws, correct?
Right. We held off last month on those amendments because those amendments aren't critical, but if we can lump them all in together with the waterfront and these other amendments that will be dealt with on the 16th, it will be a nice, tidy meeting, public meeting, just dealing with bylaw amendments.
Oh.
They tend not to be as heavily attended as a meeting like the two applications you just dealt with. So, but there will be a lot of amendments when they come through.
But how many meetings in total? Are there 3 or 2?
Yeah.
In the month of March?
2.
2, is that right? 2.
Pardon?
How many public meetings?
You need to have 2 public.
I guess I can speak to that, Councillor.
Yes.
So if we go to council meeting on Monday, so that would be to proceed to public consultation to deal with Connell and Angus. That will most likely be for March 23rd public meeting.
Okay.
And if we go to the March 16th to make a decision to move ahead for a public meeting for the water lot regulations, that will have to go to council for maybe a special meeting. And then we'll have to decide from there and count like the 7 days or 9 clear days before we can determine the second public meeting. So it could be like end of March or maybe mid of April.
Well, so just Mr. Chair, so our special meetings now, because of the change to the procedural bylaw, we can only have, there'll be one at the end, the last Monday of the month. So then you have to take that last Monday of the month and go, Ellen said, 7-9 days for advertising and so forth. So it won't be until mid-April for that second meeting, public consultation meeting.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Well, you don't have to do them consecutively, can't they? And they go be synchronized so that the edge you're talking about, Your Worship. I mean, can you not every 3 days lapse between the meetings, the ads, the meetings that are being advertised? Like you don't have to wait till advertise and then have the meeting and then advertise again and have another meeting 10 days down the road or whatever.
But council has to vote to go to a public consultation.
And that would be next month. That would be next month.
Okay, that's for these two. And then Alex wants to have a meeting at noon on March 16th to discuss David Hooley's letter and the signage. Yeah. And then those two items have to go to council to go to a public consultation too. Yeah, and with the bylaw amendment to a procedural bylaw, it's only the last the special meeting, regular special meeting is the last Monday of the month.
Okay, yeah, I understand. Okay, let's let Ellen figure that out and we'll live with it, okay?
Thank you.
I think the floating dock issue, we have a temporary measure in place to cover us for the whole summer right now. So there's no panic on that one. As far as the last month's housekeeping issues, there's no real panic on that. And, so let's see how she fleshes out.
Okay.
Okay, how are we doing? Where are we?
Good.
So we're at the designer review roster.
So, the design review roster, is,
That would be for another meeting.
yeah, that's in the next, that's in the
I think
planning
it's
committee
in the
meeting.
Planning board.
Oh. All right. That's what I thought I saw it. Yeah. Okay, what's the other one here back in?
I think we're good for planning board. That's the last agenda.
That's the last item.
Yeah. It should be new business for planning board.
Okay, yeah, that's the last one. Thank you. Okay, that's about it. There's no new business to deal with, I don't assume.
No virtual supper? Where's our virtual supper? I came for the hot dogs.
Oh, I'm going to be disappointed.
I've been waiting for the doorbell to ring.
Well,
What's it called? Skip a dinner?
no, skip the dishes, I think. We'll do much better.
Skip the dinner.
We'll do much better. We'll have a barbecue next month. Do you have a motion to adjourn? Moved by Councillor Yankoff, seconded by Councillor Kenny, or Kenny. All those in favor?
Freudian slap.
Those opposed? We're adjourned. Thank you very much.